It was a Thursday afternoon. The kind of afternoon where the light hits just right, casting long shadows across familiar spaces. I was at Matt's place, half-heartedly nursing a lukewarm beer, pretending to care about the game flashing across his big-screen TV. The crowd roared, some team scored, but I barely blinked. Then my phone buzzed. Claire. Her name lit up the screen like a spark in dry timber. I answered, voice flat, casual, like it was just another Thursday. No suspicion. No edge. She didn't bother with pleasantries. "I'm divorcing you," she said. "I've sold the business. I'm starting over, with my new partner." Then she laughed. Not a laugh of joy. Not amusement. This laugh was cruel, cut glass and gasoline. A sound meant to sting, to gloat. A victory lap in audio form. I stayed calm. "Good for you," I said. And then I hung up. Matt turned from the screen, eyebrows raised. "Everything all right?" "Yeah," I replied. But I wasn't there anymore. Not really. My mind was miles away. Back to boardrooms and airport lounges, to the late nights and red-eye flights. Claire and I built our empire from nothing. We started with ambition and coffee-stained notepads, pitching ideas to disinterested strangers, chasing dreams through fatigue and failure. She had the charm, the fire. I had the discipline. She dreamed in neon. I built in blueprint. That was our rhythm. I talked. I listened. I reached. I stabilized. I shone. I stood behind the curtain, adjusting the lights. Together we made something powerful. Something profitable. Something we called a life. I used to think her ambition was beautiful, electric. The way her eyes would ignite when she spoke of expansion, of franchise deals, of legacy. But over time, those eyes stopped finding mine when she spoke about the future. That's when I should have known. About 6 months ago, the shift became undeniable. She started dressing differently. Sharper, sexier, like she was trying to impress someone else. She wore perfume I'd never bought, smiled at texts I didn't send. Her phone, once left on counters and couches, now stayed clutched in her hand, guarded by a password I didn't recognize. Laughter started echoing from another room, laughter that didn't include me. Then came the late meetings, the vague explanations, the tired excuses, and the eyes that weren't tired. I didn't confront her. Well, confrontation reveals emotion, and in betrayal, emotion is a weapon. I had no intention of arming her. She thought I was naive. She mistook my silence for weakness. She forgot who I was before the suits, before the business class flights and tailored ambition. I grew up watching people lie with their faces and beg with their eyes. I learned young, the quiet men. We see everything. So I watched, and I waited. I started collecting phone logs, GPS data, bank transactions, photos, the usual suspects. I hired a guy, cheap, discreet, efficient. Within a week I had the footage. Claire and Jason, our chief operating officer, kissing outside a wine bar like they were in a soap opera, laughing like villains in a B-movie, subtle as a brick. 3 weeks before her phone call, I set the first domino. I met with lawyers, quietly removed my name from joint accounts, restructured digital assets, made a mirror copy of the business sale agreement template we'd used before, our standard franchise format. Then I went deeper. I created a shell company, shifted all intellectual property, our branding, designs, formulations, and supplier contracts, into that entity. Claire never read the fine print. She skimmed, trusted. She signed off on what she thought was a tax restructure. In reality, she signed away the bones of our empire. A day after her call, she filed for divorce. Cited abandonment, emotional neglect. Claimed I'd grown distant. Cute. The court date came fast. She arrived with new nails, a designer bag, and Jason on her arm, dressed for war but smiling like a bride. I said little. Just nodded, like a man handing over a chessboard already played. I let her think she'd won. Jason bought the business through a dummy brokerage. He thought he was buying a dynasty. Instead he got the husk. No IP rights, no branding authority, no access to the suppliers I had locked into exclusive contracts. 1 week after the sale, the fallout began. Suppliers pulled out. Logos were flagged for infringement. Clients left in droves. Jason called. I didn't answer. 10 days later, after the divorce was finalized, I went back to the house. Not to stay. To finish it. Claire was in the kitchen, sipping wine like a queen in her castle. She looked up. Merc. Didn't think you'd show up. The house was staged like a victory. 2 glasses on the counter. Her heels by the couch. A man's coat slung over the armrest, Jason's. I walked in. Silent. Measured. Then I handed her an envelope. She blinked. What's this? I didn't answer. She opened it. Inside, a breakdown of the licensing transfer. A list of IP rights, all mine. A termination letter from our top supplier. A cease and desist for brand infringement. At the bottom, a note. You didn't just sell the business. You sold an empty box with my name on it. And now you can't even use that name. Asterisk asterisk. She read it twice. Then again. Her face drained of color. What did you do? She whispered. Exhaled slow. You laughed. Remember. She flipped through the papers like they'd rearrange themselves. Denial. Then rage. Then desperation. Yelled. She threatened. Called me cruel. Monster. Liar. I stayed silent. Her power dimmed with every breath she wasted. She wasn't used to silence. Not from me. Then she stormed out, slamming the door like punctuation. I poured myself a glass of her wine. It tasted bitter. Fitting. 2 weeks later, Jason tried to sue. Didn't go well. The paper trail was clean. Legal. Bulletproof. He lost investors. Then his job. Then Claire. He tried reaching out. Blocked her. Then came the decline. She sold her car. Then the house. Moved into a condo. Her once glowing social media faded to cryptic quotes and wine-stained stories. Me. I reopened under a new brand. No partners. No distractions. Quiet. Clean. Some build empires with armies. I prefer precision. Betrayal is loud. It announces itself with smug grins and careless whispers. But revenge. Revenge is silent. It whispers. Moves slow. Strikes fast. And when done right, it doesn't scream. Ends. Claire thought she was playing chess. She didn't realize I built the board. Now she's just another piece. Knocked over, swept away, forgotten. And me. Sleep well. Because betrayal is an art. But revenge. Revenge is a masterpiece.